This evening, first, a former opposition leader fights back. Joseph Harmon breaks his silence, calling reports of a political endorsement for President Ali disgusting false journalism. What's the real story? Plus, South Ruimveldt Home Invasion. A young chef was shot in his sleep during a violent robbery. The suspects are still out there. We have the chilling details. Also, help on the water. Region 1 gets a critical lifeline as 3 new boats are deployed to bring healthcare and public service to some of Guyana's most remote communities. Meanwhile, First Lady on the world stage. Arya Ali champions the rights of persons with disabilities at a major UN conference, unveiling Guyana's push for inclusion and equity. Finally, in the US, tensions boil over as immigration enforcement heats up in New York. Why are asylum seekers being detained during their own court hearings? All this and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay tuned. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for June 12, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, former Minister of State and opposition leader Joseph Harmon has strongly denied reports claiming that he has endorsed President Ali for a second term, calling the claims false and disgusting false journalism. Speaking to News Source on Tuesday, Harmon said the circulated reports are dishonest and aimed at creating confusion ahead of the upcoming September general and regional elections. Harmon firmly confirmed that he has not endorsed President Ali for a second term. The former politician, who has largely stepped away from the public eyes since losing the PNC leadership race to Aubrey Norton in 2021, emphasized that he has not pledged support for any candidate or party and intends to stay out of active politics. Harmon reiterated that he has not issued support or endorsement for anyone and does not have plans to endorse President Ali. Harmon, who remains a member of the People's National Congress Reform, said he would observe the political campaign from the sidelines and offered well wishes to all parties contesting the polls. The former opposition leader previously served as a Minister of State under the APNU-AFC coalition government and later as opposition leader following the 2020 general elections before resigning after losing the party's leadership race. In other news, police are investigating a case of robbery under arms following a violent home invasion in South Ruimveldt early Tuesday morning that left a 24-year-old chef with a gunshot wound. The victim, Carlos Conyern of Aubrey Barker Road, was reportedly asleep around 3:30 a.m. when 2 masked intruders, one armed with a handgun, entered his home through a window on the southern side of the building. According to the police report, the men woke Conyern and demanded money. When he shouted "thief" in alarm, one of the suspects fired a shot, hitting him in the lower abdomen. The gunman then stole 2 Samsung smartphones valued at over $120,000 before fleeing the scene the same way they entered. Conyern was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, where he is currently in stable condition. Police recovered a .32 caliber spent shell from the scene and have launched an active investigation to identify and apprehend the suspects. On a different note, healthcare access in Region 1 gets a major boost with the launch of 3 new boats to serve remote communities. Dominic Gittins has more about the commissioning ceremony.
Healthcare and public service delivery in Region 1 has received a significant boost with the commissioning of 3 new boats and engines on Tuesday aimed at improving access for residents in remote riverine communities. The commissioning ceremony, held at Kamaka, was led by the Minister of Housing and Water and Regional Parliamentary Representative Colin Crowell, alongside Regional Chairman Mr. Brentnell Ashley and other officials. 2 of the vessels has been assigned to the Regional Health Department to serve the Mabaruma and Matarkai sub-regions, enhancing emergency response, medical outreaches, and the timely delivery of healthcare supplies. One of the boats, equipped with a 150 horsepower engine, was funded by the Ministry of Health's 2024 budget, while the other, with a 75 horsepower engine, was funded by the Regional Democratic Council. Minister Cole said people will no longer have to wait to go to the hospital for routine checks. They will now be able to have mobile outreaches and ensure timely delivery of drugs and medical supplies. A third boat, powered by a 200 horsepower engine, will support administrative duties for the RDC, enhancing regional monitoring and support efforts. Regional Chairman Ashley expressed satisfaction with the development, noting it will help the RDC expand its services to residents in hard-to-reach areas. The initiative is part of the government's broader effort to bridge service delivery gaps in rural and remote regions, ensuring equitable access to quality health care and public services for all citizens. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, Dominic Gittins.
Thanks, Dominic. Stick around when we return. Guyana reaffirms commitment to ending child labor on World Day of Observance. And First Lady reaffirms Guyana's commitment to disability rights at Global Conference.
This Father's Day, Digicel is showing love to the real MVPs, all the father figures who hold it down every day. And we're not talking socks and ties. We're talking an 85-inch TV to watch his favorite sports and a barbecue grill fit for the king of the backyard. 4 lucky winners will take home this epic combo. Just top up $1,000 or more and boom, you're entered into the draw. Give dad the gift of entertainment. Top up now, grill and chill with Digicel this Father's Day.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM will post the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. If you do not apply for a transfer, you will have to go to the polling station where you will be listed to vote based on your previous residence. Wednesday, June 18, 2025 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Guyana marked World Day Against Child Labor 2025 with a national call to action as government ministries and partner organizations united to raise awareness and accelerate efforts to eliminate child labor. Led by Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton and Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vinder Prasad, the observance highlighted the government's ongoing commitment to protecting the rights of children, ensuring access to education, and fostering safe, nurturing environments. The event themed "Progress is clear, but there's more to do. Let's speed up efforts," emphasized the need for stronger, coordinated measures to eradicate child exploitation across the country. Partnering with schools and civil society, the Ministries of Home Affairs, Labor and Human Services, reiterated the importance of safeguarding every child's right to a carefree childhood free from labor and abuse. Officials called on all stakeholders to continue working together to end child labor and secure a brighter future for Ghana's youngest citizens. Ghana's effort to support persons with disabilities took center stage as First Lady Arya Ali addressed the global conference. Dominic Gittins has the highlights from her powerful speech.
First Lady Arya Ali, during her address to the 18th session of the Conference of State Parties to the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities on Tuesday, highlighted Guyana's significant progress in the promoting and protection of rights of persons with disabilities. Presenting Ghana on the international stage, Ms. Ali outlined a comprehensive approach rooted in strong legislation, inclusive development, and targeted support. She cited the Persons with Disabilities Act and the Prevention of Discrimination Act as legal cornerstones that prohibit discrimination, guaranteed access to education and health care, and promote full cultural and social participation for people with disabilities. Ghana's Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030 reinforces this commitment, she said, noting that the government backs it with a free health care, assistive devices, employment and housing support, and lifelong public assistance for individuals with permanent disabilities. The First Lady pointed to the National Commission of Disability as the lead agency responsible for ensuring the rights and dignity of persons with disabilities. She noted the creation of the Disability Support Unit and the Center for Equity, Opportunity and Innovation as key mechanisms advancing inclusion. Under the One Ghana initiative, young people with disabilities are gaining access to economic opportunities through free vocational training at institutions such as the Mahika Learning Lab, Open Doors Vocational Center, and the Board of Industrial Training. A regional disability diagnostic and treatment center has also been established to provide early diagnosis and intervention for children with disabilities, a vital step in ensuring inclusive development. Highlighting the government's push for economic empowerment, Ms. Ali said that hundreds of housing lots have been distributed to people with disabilities. She also lauded the President's Men on a Mission program, which helps construct homes and provide building materials for families of persons with disabilities. A society is judged on how it treats its most vulnerable, she said in closing. Education, empowerment, and engagement are the pillars of which Ghana will continue to build a future where the rights of all persons with disabilities are realized. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, Dominic Gittins.
Thanks, Dominic. Ghana has become the first country in the Caribbean to launch a national child-friendly cities initiative aimed at creating safe, inclusive, and responsive environments for children. The announcement was made by Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vindhya Prasad during the International Day of Play with a Purpose event on Wednesday at Unique's Daycare, Preschool, and Nursery School in the Parfait Harmony on the west bank of the Demerara. The initiative, spearheaded by the Child Care and Protection Agency, utilizes the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child as a framework and aims to have every community in Guyana designated as a safe space for children. Minister Prasad said this means that every community will be adopted by the Child Care and Protection Agency and will be a safe space for children in every aspect. The goals of the program include ensuring child safety, promoting inclusion, encouraging child participation in community decisions, improving access to social services, and creating more play and leisure opportunities. The Day of Play event marked the first step in this direction. The initiative is part of the ministry's wider Every Child Safe program, which promotes child well-being through community engagement and education. Minister Prasad also announced plans to establish a trained community network to support child safety. She said, "We are going to put out a call for a network of people who will be trained by us in every community. Together, we must learn how to keep children safe and in the confines of the law." The ministry reaffirmed its commitment to developing policies and strategies that place children's safety and development at the heart of national planning. Don't go away after the break. Digital activism meets government backlash in Kenya's ongoing protests. And at least 49 dead in South Africa's flooding, students washed away in bus.
This Father's Day, Digicel is showing love to the real MVPs, all the father figures who hold it down every day. And we're not talking socks and ties. We're talking an 85-inch TV to watch his favorite sports and a barbecue grill fit for the king of the backyard. 4 lucky winners will take home this epic combo. Just top up $1,000 or more and boom! You're entered into the draw. Give dad the gift of entertainment. Top up now, grill and chill with Digicel this Father's Day.
Sneakily with the gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM will post the preliminary list of electors in all registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if your particulars are accurate. You can object to anyone you believe does not qualify for inclusion in the OLE. To do so, you must be listed on the same divisional list as the person you are objecting to. You must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to make an objection. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Friday, June 20, 2025. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, Jamaica's Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tofton, reaffirmed Jamaica's commitment to its long-standing partnership with Cuba, praising the contributions of 88 Cuban doctors and 199 nurses currently serving on the island. Addressing Parliament during the sectorial debate, Tofton also revealed plans to deepen healthcare ties with India, the Philippines, and Nigeria through training and clinical exchanges, aiming to address staffing gaps caused by a highly mobile global health workforce. Meanwhile, in North America, New York's federal immigration court has become a flashpoint as ICE detains asylum seekers during routine hearing, sparking daily protests. Al Jazeera's Christine Salumi reports.
Federal Immigration Court in New York is looking like a fortress. It's here asylum seekers come to make their case to a judge to stay in the country.
What we are seeing across this country is the Trump administration waging war on immigrants.
In recent days, there have been reports of people showing up for routine hearings and being detained without warning by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, or ICE. In recent days, people showing up for routine hearings have been detained by ICE agents. Though New York hasn't experienced workplace raids like Los Angeles, advocates are sounding the alarm.
They're trying to target sanctuary cities and sanctuary jurisdictions in this moment because they want to deputize and use local law enforcement as part of their immigration enforcement apparatus, which is not the job of local and state police.
As protests have gotten bigger, so has the police presence around the court.
Demonstrations like this one in New York are becoming a daily occurrence as more and more stories are coming to light of immigrants showing up for routine court appearances and getting arrested.
As a so-called sanctuary city, New York police are meant to limit their involvement with ICE to criminal investigations. The idea is to encourage the undocumented to report crimes and seek medical care, knowing they won't be handed over to federal immigration authorities.
When I was a police officer, I met a man from China who was the victim of a crime, but was too scared to file a police report because of his immigration status.
The mayor of the city, Eric Adams, has vowed to uphold New York's sanctuary policies. But his police commissioner gave a stark warning to demonstrators after scuffles in Los Angeles led to the deployment of the National Guard.
We have no tolerance for violence. None. We have no tolerance for property damage. We have no tolerance for people blocking entrances to buildings or blocking driveways or blocking cars from moving.
New York has had just a handful of arrests of protesters so far, but tensions have been rising for immigrants who tell us they are nervous to go to court. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, New York.
At least 49 people have died in heavy flooding in South Africa's Eastern Cape province after an extreme cold front brought torrential rain and blanketed snow in parts of the country, officials said. Al Jazeera's Paul King reports.
Extreme cold weather has brought heavy rain and snow, followed by flooding. Students whose school bus was caught in floodwaters are among the victims.
We mourn the tragic loss of children whose scholar transport was swept away in floodwaters. The number of people confirmed to have been in the minibus, it's 13 learners with 2 adults, the driver and the assistant to the driver.
Disaster response teams are working across the Eastern Cape province and neighbouring KwaZulu-Natal. They say they're working with families to find out who's still unaccounted for. Many residents say they had no time to think of anything but saving their lives.
The floodwater woke me up in the morning between 6 and 7. The water pushed the door open. It rushed into my house, moving furniture around, the fridge, the TV, the gas stove. I couldn't grab any of those things, so I just had to save myself.
If my child hadn't been crying, it would have been worse. We're heavy sleepers. If he hadn't cried, we wouldn't have woken up.
The rain and snow has also disrupted transport and power networks. Authorities have shut major roads in the 2 affected provinces to try to minimise further casualties. Paul Ging, Al Jazeera.
In Kenya, concerns over government overreach and digital surveillance are growing as activists face arrest for online dissent. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb reports.
Inside being handcuffed.
Rose and Jerry told us she's seen a lot of social media videos of plain-clothed men bundling people into cars in the last year. When she realised it was happening to her, she says she started crying and shaking. She was arrested at a business conference after she built an online platform that enabled users to email objections to MPs about Parliament's annual finance bill.
They're being harsh, they're telling me how they'll cut me to size, how they've dealt with people worse than me, they're smarter than me, things like that. So I'm worried. At this point, I'm also thinking, surely it can't be just the website.
This time last year, proposed tax hikes in the finance bill triggered weeks of protests in more than 50 towns and cities. Demonstrators decried endemic corruption and called for President William Ruto to step down. Dozens were shot dead after protesters entered Parliament. Ruto withdrew the finance bill, but his government still increased taxes later in the year. Since then, inflation has slowed, but so has economic growth. Kenyans are still struggling with high living costs, and the government's still struggling to service its debt.
A lot of people have not understood what we are trying to do. Kenya cannot be transformed without leadership that will decide how Kenya must change.
There's deep mistrust in Ruto's government and a widespread perception that nothing's been done to stop corruption. This blogger, Albert Ojwang, was killed in police custody after he tweeted about a police chief's implication in a bribery scandal. police say they're investigating his death. It's brought protesters to the streets this week. Meanwhile, the finance minister's been defending this year's bill at public hearings, but it seems Rose's website invited public participation that wasn't welcome. She was charged last week with cybercrimes and released on bail after 4 days in detention. She says Ojwang's death is painful, but that it's time for Kenyans to speak up.
It's going in a very bad direction, and we need to take back our country, and it can be done.
Since last year's protests, discontent with the government has simmered, and Kenya's economic woes are far from over. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Nairobi, Kenya.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's FTV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.